This is Between Two Phones.
Here in Denver at the Partner Tech Summit, we're so excited. This is our third one. What do you think of this thing?
Oh, it's phenomenal. We love this event. Every year we do it, and it's a way to get current, stay current with all of Zoom's change and everything that's going on.
We did something a little different this year. The first day was spent on the experience. And this was the first time that we had done anything like this before, where we took them through kind of a day in the life and learned about features that were maybe a little off the beaten path.
It was, and so we started with team chat, right? Because that's a lot of times how our day starts. And we went from team chat to mail and calendar, over to meetings, because we are still Zoom, and then phone, had some lunch.
You know, I was surprised. You mentioned meetings. Imagine that. We had a tech summit full of engineers and technical salespeople, and we talked about Zoom meetings. What in the world could you possibly learn in a class about Zoom meetings?
It turns out a lot. And these are from Zoomies. When we actually went and built this content, we found out there was so much we didn't know about our own products. Things that we pretty sure did, but we'd never done them. So it was really cool. And that was across almost all of the sessions we had today.
Yeah, we accomplished a lot. How do you think it went? On our post-mortem here, do you think that it was well received by the audience?
I do. I think they enjoyed it. I think they had a good time. I think they learned a lot. Things they didn't even realize that they didn't know about the product and what it could do and everything. And we also touched on a couple of really new cool things like tasks and docs, products that haven't been out that long.
Yeah, we got to cover a lot. And we are looking at doing this again in the near future. For that, why don't we bring in our fearless leader,
Well,
Mr.
if we
Sean
do that, I'm afraid we should. We have to. I think we have to bring in Sean.
I think we should, yeah. But let's go find him right now, actually.
But I'm worried we won't have time to interview Raven.
Oh, yeah. What are we going to do?
Sorry, Raven.
Well, we found Sean. We actually had to boot Raven as well. Sorry.
That always happens when I'm around.
It does, but we appreciate you joining us here on. And what interesting fashion choice you've made. I can't help but notice the cat in Seattle on your shirt. Tell me more.
Well, you knuckleheads made the theme of this week about a record company, a fictitious record company called Zoomly Jams.
We did.
As part of that, somebody on my team made an AI image of me playing guitar with my cat, Penny Lane. This is Penny Lane.
It may or may not be on the screen right now while we're talking.
Fair enough. Can we put it there?
Oh, no, don't start that.
Just extra work for John to do in post-edit. Yeah. John has endless time for post-edit.
I really do. I'm curious. But the reason that I called you over here was not to provide more work for me, but actually to understand what the desire is to have more of these events so partners that are watching could potentially attend in the future. What can you tell us from your Magic 8 Ball?
Let me give it a quick shake. There's quite a bit coming up for the balance of the year. So as we're speaking, it is Cinco de Mayo?
No.
6 de Mayo.
6 de Mayo. It's May 6th. 2 weeks from now, we are hosting our global ZCX boot camp. That's my colleague, Amy Roberge.
Will it be in this room as well?
It will be right here.
Also Zoomly Jams.
Also Zoomly Jams, so you can look forward to that. Moving away from that, we come into summer months. We like to do road shows, tons of road shows. This is where Zoom comes to you instead of you coming into Denver to see us. So in the Americas, we like to do 1 and 2 day events. Those are called Rev Up and Accelerate. Those run pretty much from Memorial Day through back to school time when we start planning our next in-person Zoom boot camp series. Well, no, these are tech summits.
Tech Summit Boot Camp. We're gonna do multiple again.
Myself.
So no, there's a lot of events that we're doing, and so those road shows are be very similar to what we did last year during that time.
Last year, exactly. We'll be doing the same thing. Internationally, they'll do flavors of this in APAC. I believe we have already scheduled Singapore. We'll hit Australia later on in the summer, and as well as Tokyo and Korea, of course, India. EMEA plans are coming online right now. They're doing a lot of in-person sort of one-to-one training, but that's kind of the cadence that we have going here.
So with the road shows that are coming up, the 1 2 day events, partner comes, let's say they're brand new to Zoom, right? They heard from the channel account manager that they have this in their city. They attend, they love it. What do they walk away with?
Depends. It depends. What we do in the roadshow, we can't cover the entire Zoom platform. You know, we're doing it in 2.5 days here. On the roadshows, we kind of pick one thing. It might be Zoom Spaces, it might be Zoom Phone, it might be our customer experience platform, it might even be AI this year. I don't know. But what you could walk away from there, probably a sales accreditation, maybe a technical sales accreditation, for sure a lot of connections, and hopefully you're empowered to go out, sell, position, and drive Zoom.
Yeah, stay tuned to find out what the roadshow events that we have coming up will include. We will have more details on that, along with the cities and the dates will be listed very soon, so we'll make sure to share that with our partner community. Sean, anything else you want to add?
No, it's a great week. This is my favorite event. The Zoom.
This is my favorite event. This is great. So thanks to all these partners that actually showed up for it. The cool thing about this one was we didn't have any cancellations going into it, which was, I think, the first time that ever happened. There was a lot of people registered, and we were bursting at the seams this morning to put some tables together to get people in seats.
It was a phenomenal day. We did an experiential. It was just a great experience, I think, for the partners and for us. We're all very tired and having a lot of fun. But once again, I'm sorry, Raven, but we're going to have you on here next episode or two.
I think
Before we go, though, I would be remiss if I didn't thank our sponsors that made this week possible.
yes.
Because you may or may not know, we do not charge our partners for this event. It is free of charge. You do have to find your way to Denver, but we feed you. We don't pay for your hotel. You're on your own there as well. But this week, our sponsors are Logitech, HP Poly, and Shure. 100% funded by them. I really, really appreciate it. So shout out to them as well.
They are awesome partners to have. Make sure you stay in contact with those fine folks. Thanks so much for watching. Sorry, Raven. We'll catch you next time. It is time for the release roundup, and I'm excited about it because this is the first of really a monthly cadence that we'll do as part of what is new at Zoom and everything that's been released here in the last month and a half, which turns out to be on a regular basis. Right? It's a lot. It's
not just what's new, right? We actually have a monthly segment for our partners called What's New at Zoom. That's awesome. That covers literally what's new features. The release notes actually talk about fixes. It talks about changes, end of life support across the entire spectrum in a pretty nth detail. Now, we're obviously not going to go to that level of detail here.
We will not.
We're going to hit some high points.
We don't have days to cover everything, but we will talk about the high points, and we're not going to go through all of the resolved issues either. We're going to specifically focus on what's new or enhanced or maybe changed, right? So I'd like to start here in our inaugural segment with things that have been released, changed, or enhanced in the month of April.
One of the first things is a changed feature inside the web portal where we are merging floating video reaction settings with the meeting reactions, right? So inside the admin portal, we have the ability to control how participants interact with meeting reactions and things. And we're combining that with similar product admin settings, namely the floating video reactions and meeting reactions, right? So meeting reactions, you can see on your button down there, you can do the little for fireworks and thumbs up and claps and stuff like that. We're merging that with the floating video reactions.
I like it. That's a good change. There's another change feature around customer managed key. What are we doing there?
This one's a big one, right? So customer managed key is one of our specialized data-related products where managed key each customer can bring in their own managed key. Now, this is going to give the ability for localization extending from the dynamic web pages associated with that. This is going to be a feature that if you know, if you have a customer that has their own custom managed key, which is a pretty small subset of customers, but usually very high end, and B, has a need for that localization. So these are non-US, sometimes data regionalization, things like that. So the ability to extend this local regionalization is going to unlock a couple of doors on what are going to be high profile customers.
Another new enhanced feature surrounding DLP stands for data loss prevention. We're now scanning for chat and file sharing. So account owners and admins can extend their organization's data loss prevention policies to external communications as well, which is great for those organizations that are doing their part as part of data loss prevention for compliance. Um, Even when joining meetings or chats hosted by other accounts. So the system will display appropriate notifications about archival and DLP status, including restrictions when external hosts don't allow DLP scanning. Users maintain the ability to edit or delete their messages when
Excellent.
both host and external accounts have DLP integration enabled. So this
So
is a
another big
great one for
one
that. Yeah.
coming up, and that feature is big once again for unlocking certain accounts that have
Right.
very specific requirements around that stuff.
Yeah.
But another one coming up, I'm kind of surprised we didn't have this before, John.
Oh, I know which one you're going to say.
Seriously, the
Webinars, right?
unsubscribe feature in Zoom
I know.
webinar email.
Yeah.
Unsubscribe. I love to
How is it
unsubscribe.
2025 and we didn't actually have this?
Right?
Yeah, it's now embedded in our webinar emails.
John, there was some PM that some architect came up and said, "Hey, I want to enact this feature," and they went, "What? We don't do that?"
Yeah, I think we've for me, the unsubscribe feature is a huge button. I do not like getting a bunch of email spam, so I appreciate this.
Yes. So
Um,
this next section is big. And
yeah,
all of you, there's links out. Do a Google search for Zoom release notes. Look over, you'll see the release notes for web, release notes for the workplace app. Look over the recent release notes. We're looking at April 14th for the web. Custom AI companion. This is, John, I almost feel like this is so much. We need to do a whole nother segment of Between the Phones just on this subject.
there's so many great things going into customer or custom AI companion for customers, and it's a very broad category that we're now painting.
Huge,
In fact,
huge.
we're actually listing this as a supplementary item that you can subscribe to on a monthly basis as part of your Zoom Workplace subscription. So it does allow you to bring your own data. That means I can pull multiple resources in. I can pull PDFs, documents. I can pull in all kinds of assets.
Specific data for
Just
your
yeah,
organization.
and it increases your knowledge set now within AI Companion beyond what the scope initially was, which was limited to kind of the generalization of what we could find maybe on the web, or within your own meeting assets, or within your own recordings, summaries, things like that, emails. And so now we're able to bring your own data, bring your own index, integrate with third-party apps like
Huge.
Jira. It's a
Yeah. So
big
the
item.
ability for AI Companion side panel to have that Jira button where it now looks through your tickets, it can reference the information in there, give answers specific to information relative to that. That's it. And it can begin interacting with Jira, right? Creating tickets and doing things like that.
Yeah, super
That's a really
cool.
big. And actually, this next feature we got to play with a little bit at the Tech Summit recently,
Yeah.
custom dictionary.
Yeah, it's a good one for any organization that has, and just about every organization has their own vocabulary, terminology, acronyms, jargon, whatever you want to call
Hate
it.
that.
There's a lot of different things that are in the custom dictionary. And if you say ZRA to anyone, is anyone going to know that that's Zoom Revenue Accelerator? You can now define what these things mean within AIC, and it'll do a better job of recognizing information based on when your employees are in there typing in a question, it'll actually know what you're talking about and try to find relevant data for it.
Meeting summary templates. Meeting summary is probably one of the best features that Zoom has ever created.
It's probably the most widely used as well on AI
Absolutely.
Companion, I'd say.
And so we all know it comes with three parts, right? It comes with your quick summary, your next steps, and then your full summary.
Yep.
Now you can customize that. You can go beyond that basic three structure template and make it more specific to needs that you want. You can apply this to certain types of meetings, to certain meetings in general, to past meetings. By the way, you can go back and have it applied to past meetings and have it do it. So really cool ability to make that extremely useful tool, even more impactful to your day.
Yeah, the other thing I'm excited about, and I know you are coming from your historical place of business, is the AI companion for third-party meetings. So now you
Yeah,
can bring AI companion into your other meeting platforms. So as much as we would like to say that Zoom is the only place to have a meeting, we all know that it's
we
unfortunately
do.
not.
We do know this, John.
There's
So an
still some others
interesting
out there.
aspect of this, right? So we know AI Companion's meeting summary is phenomenal. We have a couple of abilities regarding that, right? So the one in-person meeting, be able to take it. Well, so what this does is says, hey, rather than paying an amount of money to the other place that wants to, co-author a piece of information and give you a summary for a monthly charge, why don't you take our free service, integrate with that, have that join in and take better notes inside of that platform. Really, really cool functionality there.
Super cool. Yeah.
Now, this last one, John, I
Oh
know
yeah.
you love
Yep.
because of your
The
love of clips, right? So tell us what it is.
Yeah, the ability to make your own avatar now really takes it to the next level. And I did a little feature on this recently in a Howdy Partners segment on LinkedIn, but how to set up your custom avatar to where you make an AI version of yourself. Now you can take yourself, record yourself and your voice, your name, image, likeness, and it'll basically make an AI version of you so that you can type out a script to say different things that you want it to say. And the reason that you may want to do this, as we've talked about, is well, it's we'll talk more about that later in between two phones. How about that?
True. So this last one's an interesting one because it's taken a couple. So it's the AI companion panel for customer managed encryption key users. So you have users that have that CMK, that customer managed key. We can now enable the AI companion panel in the Zoom Workplace app specifically to their account level, group level, or user level settings. And this is going to unlock those things where previously there was a hindrance on using that for customer managed key. We can now do that. We have the ability to add the AI companion for those customers now. So
We
some really,
do.
really great features. Tons of bug fixes, right? Little tiny things I didn't even know were a problem that somebody reported and we fixed because that's what we do. Um, so John, that,
Um,
that was the web.
That's the web. Let's move over to the workplace because the client that you have on your desktop is where the bulk of the features are actually added. Now, when we talk about the web stuff, those were just options that you have to turn on for your users now. So make sure that those features are enabled if you want to try those new things out. But let's talk about what's in the app now. We're looking at April 16th. This was the release notes, most recent here. Users attempting to pair with a Zoom room using ultrasonic proximity detection, which I love. They'll be alerted if their device's microphone is muted or set to minimum volume for their operating system level. So this was one that's more almost on the maintenance side because
Yes.
users would have no ultrasonic detection when things were muted. So this is
Yeah, a
almost a
feature that you
fix.
may want on by default. You're like, oh, hey, I don't like the microphone listening, so I'm going to turn this off. Not realizing that there's several other functions and features that rely on that. One of them being the ultrasonic detection. So the ability to be notified, like, hey, you're trying to do something that you have turned off. The ability to do that. So very nice. Now this next one, interesting enough, is an update. We have announced end of life support for 32-bit, the 32-bit Windows client.
32-bit, what is that? That's
I don't, hey man, I grew up in 8-bit, so I remember when that was a big hoo-ha. So 32, but yeah, so 32-bit, as any good Windows operating system user knows, Windows traditionally came in two modes, 32-bit, 64-bit. Almost everybody now is 64-bit. But if you do have some really old antiquated systems out there still running 32-bit, especially some kind of old room system or something, this is going to be a big deal. December 2025, 32-bit, you're going to get end of life.
Yeah, so let's talk meetings, webinars for a moment and the enhanced waiting room layout. There's a new streamlined audio control coming to that as well, which is super cool. The enhanced interface provides a larger preview area for videos to check their video appearance and background settings before joining meetings and webinars. If you have this video preview turned on right now, You will notice it, and I have noticed it myself. It does appear a little bit larger, and you can easily select your audio setup pretty easily. What else is going into meeting features?
So cool ability. So we're enhancing the in meeting chat visibility for external participants, right? So this says when the only users in your account can chat settings. So inside of a meeting, you have, of course, team chat inside of the meeting. If you have only users in your account chat setting, which means that, like, so John and I both work for Zoom. If we are in a meeting with a partner or an external person and we have that setting ticked on, the chat is only going to be available to us. Well, now we're making it so that if you have that set, they won't even see a chat button. They won't. So the nice thing is they won't be able to go there and say, "Oh, it's not working for me." It just won't be available.
Yeah, there's another feature that I'm glad they're bringing because I notice this every once in a while, and that is there is an ability now to, well, have you ever tried to join a meeting that has either expired or was deleted? That's happened to me
Yes.
before. If you delete a meeting from your calendar, but then you try to join it, it's going to say, sorry, cannot join this meeting. It was deleted. And you're like, what? Because a lot of times maybe you didn't get the notification that the meeting had been rescheduled or something, whatever the case may be. Now there's an automatic fallback so that the host can recover an expired or deleted meeting when you see this invalid meeting instance. So now you won't necessarily receive that meeting if the host recovers that meeting ID. So cool stuff coming there. Team chat, a
Oh,
lot of
this is
stuff
a
being
good
added.
one. This is
Yeah.
another one I'm surprised we didn't have. So send contact request with a note on the mobile app. So from the mobile app, right? So in the desktop app, you have the ability to ask for a contact request from somebody else. You get their email address, you
An
have my contact, you
external.
can put in,
Yeah.
yeah, an external contact. And you can say, hey, so and so. Many times when I'm meeting new people and I want to add them as a contact, it's because I'm not at my desk. I'm out and about in the real world doing real things and I want to talk to them and I want to connect with them. Like, oh, you use Zoom, that's great. Here we go. And the ability to add that note, like, hey, we met at the tech summit, we met at a road show, love to connect, and it shoots that note with them. So very, very cool functionality on that.
Yeah, there's also a new channel level setting coming to manage who can initiate instant meetings. Up at the top of your chat channel, if you're not using Zoom Team Chat, then you're really missing out. But if you're using chat channels within Team Chat, there's a little video icon up there. And if you click that button, you will start an instant meeting with everybody who's in that chat channel. So, uh, what are we doing here? We're actually going to allow more options here for when you press that button, who actually has access to that button? Is it all members of the chat channel? Is it just the owner of the chat channel, the admins of that chat channel? Or are we not going to give it to anybody? And this could be very useful, right? Because if you've got a very large chat channel with a lot of people and you hit that video icon, whether purposefully or not purposefully, you are calling a meeting with a bunch of people around the globe potentially in different time zones. So this is a good feature to have, especially for
And
these.
it happens in every organization, and it's usually pretty funny, but not good. We want to stop that. So another thing we're doing, John, this is really cool, is that we're expanding the SharePoint storage for direct messages and group chat files. So many of our customers are Microsoft users, especially for SharePoint, collaboration tools, things like that. Great. This is
Yeah,
going to allow some of those expanded functionalities that SharePoint offers inside of our system, right? So you're going to be able to do the system, and the granular permission controls, only accessible to intended recipients, and the comprehensive storage solutions. We're bringing additional controls traditionally only in the SharePoint ecosystem inside of the Zoom environment so that you have, during our integration with SharePoint, which we already have and it works well, bringing more of those controls in.
yeah. I know you're going to like this next one because you use shared spaces, you use the favorites feature, the starred button. So now you can enable starring and foldering in shared spaces channels. Shared space channels can now be starred or added to custom folders for improved organization. So if your chat channels are just all awry and you've got all kinds of shared spaces as we do here at Zoom that you're using as part of that, you can now use custom folders and move those into different areas and flexibly move and organize everything within your quick access panel, we'll say.
Yeah. And if you don't know what a shared space is,
Come to the Tech Summit.
yeah, come to the Tech Summit, do some Googling. So shared space is a tool inside of Team Chat, which allows for organization of collaboration tooling
Maybe
inside
at the
that.
road show we do some shared spaces stuff too. That'd
I
be
love that.
we're gonna
I
be we're
love
gonna
that
be coming
idea.
to your city, everyone. We're coming to your city, and we're gonna do some road shows. I hope I don't spill the beans too far on that, but we're going to hopefully do some shared spaces content as part of that.
So we are also enhancing Team Chat thread summaries. So a new pop-up is going to come up to, one of the things when it comes to a team chat summary, because they can get, where are you at on it? Are you in a sub message, new message, things like that, especially on a longer one, it can get a little confusing. So this is going to be a pop-up that enables you to quickly and easily interact with the team chat thread summary feature. It's a great feature, but a lot of times I'm going to the ellipsis to click it on and to see that thread. Now I don't have to. Now it's going to go. By the way, if you have your AI companion side panel up, you can just ask it to summarize this thread anyway.
Oh yeah.
But
Yeah.
now you don't even have to do that. It's going to be right in.
There is a new feature coming to allow you to configure settings in the admin portal to restrict members from leaving channels. So if you want to keep people in those channels, can you do it? Yes, you can. You can keep them in that channel so that they are not allowed to unsubscribe, so to speak, if you are so inclined. And another feature coming to reset the channel invite links in the admin portal. So account owners and admins can reset channel and invite links directly from the channel management page in the admin portal. This almost sounds like it should be in the web notes, but it's in the workplace notes. But that's okay. We may just merge this next release roundup as part of it. What
So
else do we have
another
in chat? Anything else left in chat?
We do, and this is an interesting one. So the ability to at mention, right? So we love at mentioning people. The ability to at mention people inside of a channel that are not a member of that channel. So if you, let's say I'm in a channel with John and somebody else like Raven is not in that channel because he just couldn't make it for some reason. If I do at Raven, if he's not a member of that channel, I'm chatting in that channel, it will not let me complete it. Kind of a pain. Now, with this feature, I can at mention Raven. He will not get alerted by it. He won't be able to see it, but it's going to structure the conversation the same that I actually have called out, like, hey, here's a person, Raven. And then when he does, if he joins in the future or is invited in, hopefully he can someday see that message and be able to.
Let's talk about phone here in our last minute or so. Let's talk phone. So this one's only going to pertain to the iOS users. So
Do we have people using iOS?
Apple folks, I know you. I know you're out there. I'm one of them, so I'm very interested in what this is. We can now set the default dialing app on iOS devices. Now, this was formerly really a limitation of Apple when they introduced CallKit. We now have the ability to use a lot of their functionality at the core OS level, and so users can set Zoom Phone as their default dialing application on iOS devices through their device settings. The feature leverages Apple's CallKit to integrate Zoom Phone seamlessly into the iOS ecosystem. When switching to the Phone tab after installing the latest version, so make sure you're on the latest, users receive an alert notifying them of this capability with a direct link to the iOS settings. This streamlined configuration eliminates the need to manually open and navigate through the Zoom mobile app when making phone calls. So now I can one-touch dial and just dial out using Zoom Phone if I want to. So setting Zoom Phone as the default dialing app provides a more efficient calling experience by reducing the steps needed to place calls. You don't have to go into the Zoom Phone app. You don't have to go all through that and try to find where it is in the phone dialer and use that contact information. Just put it in your iOS contacts and then click to dial. This is obviously with the support of CallKit default calling app entitlement. So you have to have the latest version of iOS as well as the latest version of Zoom to be listed to allow iOS to list Zoom Phone as a calling option within the dialer for iOS. And for Android users, I'm sorry if your eyes glazed over, but that's where we are. Anything you want to talk about contact center wise that's been released?
So one thing really cool is Zoom Contact Center apps available in Zoom Web App. That's a big deal. So we have our progressive web app, right? That you can interact as a Zoom Contact Center agent in, but you're limited on some of the functionality in that particular sphere because apps, if you have app integration, wasn't available in that. So now we have agents using the Zoom web app can launch, interact, switch between, and close Zoom apps for contact center when handling engagements in the same way as the desktop app. This is bringing feature parity between those environments. Particularly great for those environments that have the web app up there as a fallback, or let's say they are limited by a certain client install and but they still have contact center agents that want to be able to do things. So this is going to allow those agents to fully utilize and assist their customers even when using the Zoom web app.
Are you out of breath yet? How you feeling?
Almost. I'm working hard.
That does it for the release roundup. I'm glad you tuned in. Thanks so much for joining us here, and we'll see you next time. Back here in the Denver studio. Yeah, it's nice that we finally have a studio, isn't it?
It is for recording of videos. Speaking of.
Yeah, I record a lot of videos just using Zoom Clips nowadays.
Absolutely.
It's made the way I record and the way that I distribute those videos remarkably more simple.
Oh, and it's so one of the best things when I talk about Zoom Clips. So this is you record a video, you edit it, you do whatever you want with it. It then becomes publicly accessible if you want it to be.
Yeah.
Right. So you can share this however you want. The biggest thing about that, traditionally we would post a video on LinkedIn, on YouTube, on these other, maybe on Facebook. Those are ad-driven, revenue-driven sites.
Yeah, they got ads on there, don't they?
So guess what? Your competitor can post an ad in the middle of your video.
Hey,
you don't have control.
I'd like to tell you about our great UCAS offering. Let me show you the Zoom product, and then all of a sudden...
Now Microsoft Teams offers nearly good performance, and we only go down sometimes.
Oh,
I shouldn't say that. That's bad.
But that's probably happening right now on this YouTube video if you're watching
I
YouTube.
know.
Or if you're listening on Spotify or one of the other platforms, they have ads as well.
But if you're listening to this on Clips, seamless.
We don't distribute the podcast on Clips.
I think we just called ourselves out.
We did. Maybe I need to work on that because now we have Clips playlists.
Oh, huge.
So I
feature.
could throw, and you can actually upload videos into Clips now.
Yeah.
Maybe we need to have the exclusive. Maybe we just need to restrict everything to just Clips now and just have it. I don't know if I want to go that far yet.
I don't know.
Here's
Can you
the
imagine
reason.
the outrage from our massive audience base if we stopped our favorite streaming platform?
The Spotify thing is big because I think a lot of people have Spotify in their car, and so it automatically starts to play.
True story.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, with Clips and the playlist feature, I can publicly post a playlist now. Say that
Very
three
cool.
times fast. Publicly post a
playlist.
playlist. And once it's there, I can continue adding things to the playlist so that folks can find that new information.
And another great feature that we've enhanced Clips with is it not only does a transcript, it's done the transcript. It automatically does a transcript and chapterizes that recording. So you get smart chapters built into your Clips now.
Smart chapters built into Clips now. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I thought it was just descriptions only. I didn't know smart chapters were built in there too.
It chapterizes the
Yeah.
the recordings in Clips now.
That's pretty cool.
That is very
so.
cool.
If you haven't seen Smart Chapters, it is useful because, especially for things that Eric and I record, because we often end up in La La Land.
Different places.
We are, yeah.
This video started with talking about Zoom webinars.
Yeah.
And we're here now. So we landed well. We're going to land well.
Are we? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But I will say that you should try Clips out. It is actually, there's a limited version of Clips available in our free license. I don't know if folks knew that. You can use Clips with a free license. However, if you really want the fully fledged Clips version, I highly recommend having a
Zoom
paid
Workplace.
license. Yeah, Zoom Workplace license will give you Zoom Clips. And coming soon to a client near you, AI in Clips, which is super cool.
Oh yeah, we can't
Yeah, we can
talk
talk
about it. We can talk about
We
it.
can talk about it. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
We already talked about it.
We'll talk about it more later.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, everyone. Give Clips a try. You can do it from your mobile device. You can do it from your desktop device as well. It's super easy to use. I think once you try it, you'll want to buy it.
And we will see you next time on
Between Two Phones.